Hey guys, it's Slumming Rush. Probably the most commented thing on my games, like just consistently over the years, is that I don't finish my carries. Today, I'm spoiling the end, kind of, because I'm not going to tell you how, but I actually managed to complete a fucking incredible game. This is like, I got clicked 3 times in the space of like 8 seconds. This is on the EU server, so I think I don't have anonymizer turned on. I got clicked 3 times. I got down to 2 HP with 0 damage, and I still managed to do basically double my HP and damage and carry the game. So, whopper result, really happy with it. Today, I'm going to kind of explain the thought process behind it, and we're going to go through the game. So, let's get started. For this one, we're on the map Berlin. Now, first thing you have to do whenever you're in a game is kind of look at what the enemy team has. You'll know if you've played on Berlin and actually watched where people go, or just watched where you go. You're never going to take a heavy to the south of the map. That just never happens. No, if you're the type of person to take an OI to the south, stop doing that, please. But the bottom line is most people understand heavies go to the north, and mediums and lights tend to try to play the south. Now, this is something you can try to exploit. I do this frequently by taking fast tanks to here, which is an aggressive play. But on this type of map, the enemy team has a heavy tank number 6, KV2, M6, OI, Tiger 131. Like, to try to fight a KV2 and an OI in a Type 64 is stupidity to the highest degree. It would make no sense to try to do that. So based on what they have, I can't ever go play aggressively in the city because the only play I really have for a tank like this is aggression in the city. I'm forced to go to the south. Now, for anyone who... I'm taking a military history course, and oh my god, the south is basically World War I. In one World of Tanks map, they basically designed the entire south side of the map after World War I. It's just trench warfare. There's actually nothing that can happen in the south, and I found this out after trying it once, just because of the way they've designed it. It's trenches with bushes, and whoever tries to push through this side of the map will die. Now, a lot of people will say, well, if you just have scouts that are good enough, you can make it happen. As you'll see towards the end of the game, I actually do end up scouting the K-line, and I have binocs. I set up my binocs, and the bushes are just so good that no scout can actually make it work. So on this map, what you can see is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I can't count, 5 tanks, including myself, coming over to this side of the map. Notably, watch this OI right here, because this OI, if you looked at the map here and assumed the OI was going to go into the city, you would be mistaken. This is why it's really important to watch how your teammates play constantly. You always have to check this up, because if you see this guy, he's coming, this is going to be the reason that this game has to be a carry, basically, because this OI is not playing the city, he's coming back to our base. Now, from my perspective, I actually haven't noticed this. I've come to this position because I have very little experience down here, and they have a T-37 in a position that I thought would be great in a training room. When I looked at this map in a training room, I was like, oh, I'd love to get there, basically. Now, the reason I didn't take a position like that is 3 Arty, right? So you look at the enemy team lineup, and going there from the T-37's perspective is kind of dumb, because he's just going to get clicked 3 times, and he's going to have trouble spotting people in these overpowered bushes. So to me, it's not a great play from the T-37's perspective, but here we are. So I'm in the bush. Really, there's nothing to see here. I'm going to speed it up, because basically what we decide is not to play here, because what I say is, look, the OI's not in the city. We're going to lose that. Let's not be here. Nothing's going to happen. We'll probably have a better game if we go to the city. And so from a mentoring perspective, my job is to teach the guy how to have the best games possible. And so I say, look, you're not... This is a stalemate. We don't have a scout, partly because I chose not to, mainly actually because I chose not to. So from your perspective, if you had no scouts on the south, you'd want to basically go back to the city, and that's what we're going to do. Now, luckily I'm not teaching people how to drive. I'd be really shitty at that. Basically, what's happening is he's got the VK behind me. You can see here he is, and we're rotating back because we're losing the city. And so the question here is, where is the best position to defend the city from? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pause it for 5 seconds. I'm going to increase the map, and I'm going to kind of let you try to figure out where the hell I would go, or so where would be the best position to shoot these guys as they push into our base. Because the OI, all these heavies are going to basically try to flank the KV2. This guy's going to go forward. Tiger 131 might push like this. Where could I possibly go to have a decent game? Now, assuming you made the decision while I talk, just pause the video if you want more time. I'm going to keep playing, and from here, you're going to see how I decide to do this, because I'm not a perfect player by any stretch of the imagination, and this is where I actually lose all my HP, like I said in the beginning. So what I do is I come up to this angle, because I think this is going to give me the best shots in the KV2, tell the KV2 to fall back, because as he pushes in, he makes it harder for me to support him. I get lit. Now, the reason I get lit is this angle right here, and I did not expect that to be a problem when playing here. To me, that makes no sense. The other thing to realize is they could very easily have people pushing up this road, and that's exactly what will happen. So I get lit. I don't poke on the OI because I can't, well, yet. I poke on the OI because I'm a fucking dumbass and he misses. I wanted to see if he could have a shot at me, basically, and I learned he does. And then after I get lit, all three Arty shoot at me, and I get lit on fire. So here I am, just hoping I don't die. I'm not going to waste the large repair kit if I'm about to die. And I've got 2 HP left, and I repair everything. I get the ammo rack back up, and you can see I'm backing up because I don't want to get clicked again. The M44 has like a 16-second reload or something. So 12T comes up the mid. I repaired everything just in time. That guy totally could have killed me. And this is where I kind of realize I think I'm getting focused by Arty. And the evidence to support this just becomes greater and greater, and one of that's going to come in the form of blind shots. So I decide not to fight the 12T. Obviously, he's aiming at me. Arty was aiming here. Makes no sense. And then Arty blind fires right here. So moving from that position saved my ass because I'm on 2 HP. He definitely would have killed me there, and I come over to here. Now, I'm lit. I get spotted. I don't know how I get spotted, and because I don't know, I think it might be one of these windows here. So just don't drive in front of those windows. I think in a lot of times you can shoot through these, and I don't know every single window on every single map, so I just choose not to risk it. Now, I'm here. KV2's lost a lot of his HP. I expect to be reasonably Arty safe from this position, and Arty's going to blind fire at some point, but you can see there's an OI who sees a one-shot KV2, and this is the position I actually end up getting to put shots. Now, my platoon mate's in a similar spot. He's trying to get shots in the OI. Unfortunately for him, I just kill the OI. Normally, I will give people damage if it's not going to throw the game, but you know, in this case obviously I have to kill the OI to keep the KV2 alive, so it makes more sense for me to get that killed. Now, looking at the map, my platoon mate begins to realize like, hey, we're starting to push the south, and because I'm split between carrying and teaching, I'm not going to play the greatest. Now, what happens here is Arty blind fires at me, so like really I think I'm certain I'm not anonymized in this context. Arty's focusing me down, just makes no sense, and then I begin to run away. Now, the second I try to run away, a Tiger 131 gets spotted, so I take a shot at him, and you're going to see I'm just going to try to stay as Arty safe as possible if I can, but prioritizing getting shots on the Tiger, but maintaining the Arty safe position when I'm not shooting at anyone. The Tiger's looking at me, so I'm not poking on him, and you can see my platoon mate is pushing the VK, and that's because what you'd want to do in this situation, if you look at the map after I kill the Tiger 131 right here, is, or try to kill him, I think he's going to get the kill, you need to try to win one side of the map. So I get the kill, and my platoon mate's just trying to clear out the city. You can see Arty puts another shot at me, which is completely retarded, and at this point, my platoon mate is kind of controlling the city. You can see I look over there, he's got a 300 VK and HP and VK in front of him. It's the right thing for him to be doing from a strategic sense. We don't want someone flanking us while I'm trying to defend the base, basically. So I'm going to pause it again because I guess actually it's spoiled. You can basically see where I'm going to go to try to reset. I come over to here to try to get some shots on the 12T who's in the open, set up my binocs and my camo net, just trying to rely on those. And it's pretty obvious based on how I'm facing that I'm going to try to get over to this area where there's actually some bushes that might allow me to reset. Now, from my platoon mate's perspective, he's in the city fighting a 30-45. That's really useful from the win if you have 2 Arty and a light tank in my position who are trying to reset. As long as this guy is busy fighting someone who's not close to me, it increases our chances of winning. Now, I'm trying to get by this SU rate right here because I don't want to die. Eventually I get through, and then from here, I actually have shots. Let me show you that again. Okay, once I get past the Arty, I'm in a situation where I've got a Type 64 and a 12T YOLOing at me. So I shoot the Type 64 first just to minimize the angles of exposure, basically, and then the 12T is the next easiest kill. So it's easier and faster for me to shoot the Type 64. I finish him off, and they don't know where the hell I am. The problem is there's 30 seconds left. My platoon mate has not killed the 30-45 yet, and you can see I'm looking over there trying to help, but the problem is there's 20 seconds left in the game, and so I can't help him out. He has to try to he basically has to try to win that for himself. Now, I get over to here, and my tank has wicked camo. I notice, you see, he's not looking at me. I don't think I'm spotted here. So I set up my camo net, and because there's 9 seconds left, I try to reset. That shot bounces. He's fucking lucky, and he's looking straight at me, so I have to hope Arty gets the reset. Now, he misses his shot. Arty does not get the reset. I'm able to get the reset, keeps us in the game, and the SU-8 actually manages to finish him off. Now, because of the focus I was getting, and because I'm the last person alive, I get Arty safe as quickly as I can. My platoon mate, I don't remember what happened. I think someone managed to kill the 34-85, which was actually why we won. It would not have been possible if he had not taken this position over here. And now I'm in a situation where there's literally triple Arty on the enemy team, and we have an SU-8. So how do you go about winning a map like this where there's literally 3 Arty who will all be in overpowered bushes in the south or north, like in random positions that you can't really predict? So the way that I decided to try to do this, and this is not something I'm experienced at, so what I'm saying might not be the best way of approaching it, but it's what I'm thinking. So I'm going to K7, and M44s are very mobile, and what I'm hoping to do is I'm trying to figure out how to push into the M44s. I want to take a position that lets me catch them moving, basically. So the idea here is to get into a bush like this, and I'm going to set my binocs up, wait for a couple seconds, and then incrementally push in. I don't think the M44s will have moved just yet. There's 6 minutes left. There's no rush from their perspective. They're going to want to wait for me to push in first, because obviously I'm a light tank. Most Arty players have the mentality of just sort of camping. So what I do is I come here, I'm trying to set my binocs, maybe I get lucky and catch someone out, and the thing here is using the time. A lot of people will rush carries like this. I'm just going to fast forward it, because what I have to do is I kind of have to create pressure for the Arty for them to move, because obviously in a 1v1 situation, Arty will beat me if I'm spotted, right? Like, it's just to their advantage. They can miss me and do 2 HP, so I have to be really careful about it. I decide, after a couple minutes of waiting, I decide to push up to this bush right here. Now, there's a very common Arty position, and if I was an Arty, I would either be in this bush, in which case I'd already be spotted, but I would also be in this bush. I would typically run binocs on Arty, and so I'd be in this bush trying to spot as much as I could if I was in an Arty. So what I'm doing is I approach in such a way that I don't think I will get lit by anyone in this bush, and then I set up my binocs again, because there's a shitload of bushes over here that I'm trying to spot, and you can see I expect someone to be right here, so I'm hoping he takes a blind shot or something, and then I can spot him. And you can see in chat, I'm getting told by the M44 to go, 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 and that's dumb. I can tell you, because I've played this game, there is an Arty in this bush. I won't tell you where the other ones are, but for me to even risk getting spotted here, if I got lit, 3 Arty would shoot at me, so I have to figure out ways to do this without getting lit. And what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to change the angle, and I'm going to try to spot the K1 bush, because I suspect someone's there from multiple different angles. There's no rush to doing this. I can spot different bushes from different angles and different orders, but I'm not focusing necessarily on K1, but I'm coming up the mid to try to find things. Now, sometimes you'll find people in here, so I actually was taking a bit of a risk, and I thought Arty might be in here, but they weren't, so it was fine. And what I've done is, you can see I've come up to this building, and that's to try to spot the K1 bush, and maybe spot down this road. There's a whole bunch of positions that I can now spot from this angle, because I'm trying to dig out multiple really strong positions for Arty. Now, I'm going to knock over this tree, and that's on purpose, because typically what you'll find is that Artys will also be back here. And so I knock it over, and I'm going to back up, because I want to see if anyone shoots at the tree after I've knocked it over, basically. So I want to be safe about it. And then once I've given it a sufficient amount of time, I'm going to push into the bush, and then we're going to set up my binocs. And this is the type of play that actually does really well this game. So I come into this bush, I set up my binocs. You can see I think I'm going to spot someone in here, but the binocs prove super useful, and I'm able to spot the M44 right here. So that shot will go in. And what I'm doing is I could fall back, but I decide not to. I want to just keep this guy lit. I'm hoping the SU-8 has shots in the M44 over here, but if you look at the map, he's busy, right? So put shots into the M44. These ones look like they're going in. I've hit him 3 times, I think, and the 4th one manages to get the kill on the M44, which is wild. Really lucky that he didn't move, and you can see we know where one Arty is now, and we don't know where the other Arty is. So I'm going to give you a sec. It's your job to guess where the unspotted Arty is. Assuming you've kind of guessed where Arty is, I'm going to explain my next play, because from my perspective, Arty was most likely to be helping the north. If I were to guess, I would say 60% of the time, both of their Artys would be up here. And so what I decide to do is I'm like, look, there's 3 minutes left. I can't go chase where I think both of them are down. I have to cap out. That's my only option here. So what I do is I cap out. Now, there's ways to do this that would have been a lot smarter. I'm not stopping, because I want to see if I get lit. The enemy players can't choose to not spot you, right? So if I drive in the open and I get lit, I'm going to hard cut left, and you can see what I'm doing is I'm putting this in between myself and the most common Arty position right here. So if I were to get spotted through the bush or whatever, at least I have this cover right here that they can spot me through, so 6th Sense would alert me that someone's there. And there's basically the idea here is I'm using this to force the enemy to spot me, and if they were to shoot at me, it's HE, so an M44 would the shell would be blocked right here. So I don't get lit right here, and I haven't been lit up to this point, and so it's just like I pull into safety basically, because I don't think there's someone here anymore, because I would be spotted by now, and then suddenly someone gets lit. So the M44 in the most common light tank or Arty position didn't spot me, and because he definitely will spot me now that I'm shooting at him, I'm using this crane, obviously just shooting underneath the crane or whatever it is to get safe. Now I get off cap because I have 2 minutes here, and we know they've got an M44. M44s are very quick, and I have to figure out the best way to cap out. Now, there's a shitload of cover on the cap in this map, and eventually what I decide to do is I start off here, and then I second guess it. Because if you were going to blind fire, where would you blind fire as an M44? Well, probably the best and most consistent way of doing this as an M44 driver is to get into A3 and just blind fire all of the safe positions right here, right? Like if you were in an M44, the best way to approach this would be to just sit in A3, blind fire here, blind fire here, blind fire here. You know, you've got 16-second reload, you can totally do it, and that's an obvious position. So what I decide to do instead is I decide to pop back here. If the M44 doesn't go to A3, which would be his best play in my opinion, what will happen is he can either reset through 2 routes. He can reset like this, fine. I can actually deal with that really easily by going in, like, I can run away effectively and drive forwards. If he comes this way, I want to be able to turn left and go around, and then if he comes this way, I want to be able to drive forwards and then use this for cover. So what I do is I'm sitting here because it gives me the most options of safety, and it's the least likely. Who the hell would blind fire here? Now, M44 gets lit pushing in, just like I kind of expected. That's why I took this position, and I try to put a shot into him. Unfortunately, that one doesn't hit. Now, remember, I'm on 2 HP, so I have to be careful with the pokes. I will only poke as long as he's moving, because he can miss me and kill me, right? And so what I do is, there's no way in hell I'm sitting close to the corner. What I want to do is I want to actually get unlit and then catch him off guard as he comes around a corner. So you can see I position myself here, I back up as much as I can, take the shot, then I'm going to drive forwards, and this is just trying to force him to drive into me so I don't kill him. Then he drives into the open, I get the early shot on him. You can see he's having massive gun handling issues, and I'm able to get the kill right there, and all of it was due to, well, the fact that we didn't actually YOLO scout the south is kind of why we were able to carry that one, and then also the fact that we went back to base and just kind of played it from there. So that was 1,583 damage plus whatever I got on the Arty, all from 2 HP. We'll go take a look at the end plates, and I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope you enjoyed the pauses too. So the Type 64 is clearly one of the best tanks in the game. What you can see is that I got 112,000 credits, 4,000 XP. A lot of people ask me what premium tank you should buy. Just get a Type 64. Honestly, it's one of those tanks you can't really go wrong with. And what I try to advise people to do is I say, hey, get a tank that you can play for like 4,000 games. If you could only play 5 tanks, pick premiums as the majority of those, because you can always play premiums. Even if you don't have a premium account, super easy to run. So Type 64 for me would be on that list just because it's so fun and it makes credits. You can see Master Badge First Class. Obviously, it's a very popular tank. I got a Top Gun Defender Dumitri's medal for killing 3 Arty, and 2005 damage, came first place on the team for damage. You can see my platoon mate did 1,000. It was harder for him because I was playing a Type 64, and obviously I was carrying, and so I was like, look, for a win, you need to make these plays. They may not have been the best for his damage, but they allowed me to carry, which in that specific instance is something I'll do because I'd rather have the win than, but it's just the way it is. That's my mentoring. If I'm going to carry, I will always prioritize the immediate win, so at least someone gets to experience and see how I get to do it, as opposed to try it, fail, and then we all get a loss. So 2,000, probably fail, let's be real. Sometimes it happens, but that was 1,130 base XP, 7 kills, to make out 1,000. The KV2 did very well with another 2,000 damage game, T78, 1,400 damage, and you can see their players that did well actually managed to push the field. How they did that, I have no clue. The other player who played the field and didn't do well still got 1,000 spotting and 500 damage. So it's not what I would be going for if I wasn't. It's not a result that I would try to get. I got a better job. I did more for my team by playing in the city, basically. So that was. Made credits on that. No, did I make credits? Yeah, I made 80,000 credits because I got 50,000 with a bonus. I would have made 30,000 otherwise. 78 blah blah blah, don't really care actually. That's the game. I fired 26 shots, 23 of them hit, 20 of them penned, and yeah, that's the video. If you want to see more of my videos, be sure to like and the subscribe button. If you want mentoring, I do have hours available, and yeah, basically everyone who's signed up so far, it's actually wild. I've had this insane increase of clients, and all of them really enjoy it and are basically coming back if they can pay for it. So, sign up. Almost guaranteed you'll enjoy it, because I literally, in 6 years, I've had one client who hasn't. And yeah, I will see you for the next one, or in mentoring if you decide to do that.